Imagine waking up every day in a town where crime rates are through the roof, job opportunities, and your neighbors are struggling just to make ends meet. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, unfortunately, it's a reality for thousands of people living in some of England's worst towns. Did you know that over 4 million people in the UK are living in areas with high levels of poverty, unemployment, and crime? And that number is growing every year. But here's the twist. Some of these towns have been in decline for decades, and yet people still move there hoping for a fresh start. But what if I told you that some of the most popular towns to live in are actually some of the worst places you could choose? From shocking crime rates to struggling economies, these towns will make you think twice before even considering a move. Stick around to find out the top 10 worst towns in England that you should absolutely avoid. Because the truth about these places may surprise you, and I promise, it's not all what it seems on the surface. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Skegness. Let's kick things off with Skegness, a coastal town that many might think of as a charming beach destination, famous for its traditional seaside attractions. But here's the catch. Living in Skegness might not be as dreamy as the postcards make it out to be. While the town does attract plenty of holidaymakers, its economy is heavily dependent on tourism. In fact, much of Skegness's job market relies on the influx of visitors during peak seasons. So when the summer crowds leave and the colder months settle in, it can feel like the whole town goes into hibernation. For residents, this means limited job opportunities, especially for those who aren't in the tourist industry. It's tough to build a stable career here, which leads to higher levels of unemployment compared to other towns in the UK. But that's not all. Skegness also faces significant infrastructure issues. Roads are outdated, public transport options are limited, and the town's facilities can feel run down. For anyone trying to live here long term, that can lead to frustration and a general sense of stagnation. Let's not forget the crime. While Skegness may seem peaceful, certain areas have seen an increase in antisocial behavior and petty crimes. It's not uncommon for residents to feel unsafe or concerned about the state of their neighborhoods. So while Skegness might seem like an ideal getaway for a weekend trip, for those looking to settle down, it might be better to keep driving past. Number 9. Blackpool. Next up is Blackpool, a town often synonymous with fun-filled holidays, neon lights, and the iconic Blackpool Tower. But while the tourist attractions draw crowds from all over the world, life in Blackpool is a lot more challenging for those who live there year-round. First, let's talk about the economy. Blackpool is heavily reliant on tourism, and that means when the holiday season ends, the town's economy takes a significant hit. Like hospitality, entertainment, and retail dominate the job market, but they tend to be low-paying, seasonal, and unstable. For many residents, this means struggling to find long-term, secure employment and facing financial difficulties. Then there's the issue of deprivation. Blackpool has some of the highest levels of poverty in the UK, and it's a town where residents are often just scraping by. This is reflected in the town's health statistics, with many areas facing above-average levels of physical and mental health problems. The stress of living in such conditions, combined with the lack of economic opportunity, has led to a challenging environment for the people living here. Let's also not ignore crime. While Blackpool has its fair share of entertainment, it also has areas that suffer from higher-than-average crime rates, particularly antisocial behavior and drug-related offences. So, before you pack your bags and head to Blackpool, think twice. It may be attractive, but the reality of living there can be a tough pill to swallow. What do you think about Blackpool's real living conditions? Is it still worth considering? Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. And if you're enjoying the video, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more insights like this. Number 8. Grimsby. Once a thriving fishing port, now a town fighting to stay afloat. The days when it was known as the food town are long gone, and the remnants of its industrial past are all that's left. The fishing industry that supported the town for generations has collapsed, leaving behind economic struggles that have been hard to overcome. The decline of Grimsby is painfully obvious, especially if you look at its job market. Once the hub of the fishing industry, the town now lacks the kind of modern workforce. This means high unemployment, with many residents finding it hard to secure stable, well-paying jobs. Those who do find work often end up in low-wage, making it even harder to build a future here. Grimsby's social fabric has also taken a hit. Poverty is rampant, with large parts of the town facing deprivation. In fact, many of its neighbourhoods are among the most economically disadvantaged in the UK. The effects of this can be seen in everything from health issues to a general lack of optimism among residents. Even the town's physical state reflects its struggles. There's a notable lack of investment in infrastructure, with many areas showing signs of neglect. Roads and public services are often underfunded, and the overall townscape can feel bleak and run down. Grimsby is trying to reinvent itself, but for now it remains a town that's fighting against the tide, with much of its future still uncertain. It's a place where people are holding on, thriving. Number 7. Luton. Luton, a town that's often overshadowed by its proximity to London, might seem like an appealing choice at first glance. After all, it's got an international airport and is well connected to the capital. However, take a closer look, and you'll see that Luton faces serious challenges that make it one of the least desirable places to live in England. For starters, the town struggles with high levels of deprivation. Luton has one of the highest rates of poverty in the country, and many areas suffer from a lack of economic opportunities. Despite being near London, the job market in Luton simply doesn't match up to its southern neighbour. This has led to a situation where many residents find themselves stuck in low-income, often precarious jobs, with little hope for career progression. The town is also grappling with growing issues, particularly gang-related activity. While it's not all areas of Luton, some neighbourhoods experience high levels of antisocial behaviour, theft and violence. This creates an atmosphere where safety can often feel like a concern, making it harder for families to feel at ease. Transportation, although decent, isn't without its problems. Congestion is a big issue, and for a town so close to a major international hub, public transport options can feel insufficient at times. The housing market is another area where Luton falters. Despite being more affordable than London, housing prices have been steadily rising, putting home ownership out of reach for many residents. All things considered, Luton may offer convenience, but for many it's far from an ideal place to call home. Number 6. Doncaster. Doncaster, a town nestled in South Yorkshire, may seem like a place, but the reality of living here is far from ideal. While the town has its share of historical landmarks and a strong sense of community, it's also a place where economic struggles and social issues are impossible to ignore. One of the most glaring problems in Doncaster is its high unemployment rate. Many local industries, particularly coal mining and manufacturing, have long since disappeared. And despite efforts to diversify, the town still suffers from a lack of well-paying job opportunities. This leaves many residents with limited prospects and forces some to commute long distances to find work, if they can find it at all. The economic difficulties are compounded by a higher than average level of deprivation, with many of Doncaster's neighbourhoods struggling with poverty. In fact, several parts of the town are ranked among the most deprived in the UK. With this comes a host of associated issues: poor housing, lower levels of education, and health problems that affect life. Crime is another concern in Doncaster. While not as violent as some other places, antisocial behaviour and petty crime are common, making certain areas feel less safe, particularly in the evenings. Perhaps most striking is the town's inability to keep up with modern infrastructure needs. Public transport options are limited, and some areas of Doncaster show signs of neglect, with run-down buildings and a lack of investment. For anyone looking for a place with growth potential and opportunities, Doncaster might not be the best choice. Number 5. Rotherham. Rotherham, a town with a rich industrial history, has unfortunately become known for some very dark reasons in recent years. While it's not entirely fair to define the town by its past, the shadow of a child exploitation scandal that rocked the community This scandal deeply affected the town's reputation, and the fallout is still being felt today. Beyond its troubled past, Rotherham struggles with several socio-economic issues that make it one of the less desirable places to settle. Unemployment rates remain high, with limited career opportunities outside of low-paying, often unstable jobs. Many of the industries that once kept the town thriving have disappeared, leaving behind an economy that's still struggling to find its footing in the 21st century. Rotherham also faces significant issues with crime. While not necessarily a hotspot for violent crime, the town has witnessed rising rates of antisocial behavior and property crime in certain areas. This makes it a place where residents, particularly those living in certain neighborhoods, can feel uneasy about their safety. The town's infrastructure leaves much to be desired. Public services are underfunded, and some areas are lacking in basic rundown housing, limited transport options, and a general lack of investment in community projects contribute to a sense of stagnation. Despite efforts to turn things around, Rotherham remains a town that's struggling to shake off its past while contending with significant social and economic challenges. For those looking for a fresh start, Rotherham may not be the ideal destination. Number 4. Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, located in the heart of Teesside, has been a major industrial hub in the past, but its future is a lot less certain. The town has faced decades of economic decline, particularly after the collapse of the steel industry, which was once the backbone of its economy. Now, Middlesbrough is left grappling with unemployment, poverty, and a lack of economic diversity, making it one of the more challenging places to live in England. One of the most pressing issues in Middlesbrough is its high unemployment rate. Job opportunities are sparse, especially for those who aren't in the industrial or service sectors. The town has struggled to attract new industries to replace the lost jobs, and many residents find themselves stuck in low-wage, insecure positions. This makes it particularly difficult for younger generations to build a stable career and a future in the town. The social challenges don't end with employment. Middlesbrough has one of the lowest life expectancies in the UK, with health outcomes significantly worse than the national average. The combination of poverty, unemployment, and poor living conditions has a direct impact on the well-being of its residents. Crime rates are also a concern, with certain areas of Middlesbrough experiencing higher than average levels of antisocial behavior and drug-related offences. Although the town has its charms, including a rich cultural scene, the overall experience of living here is marred by economic instability and social. For those seeking a town with opportunities and stability, Middlesbrough might not be the right fit. It's a place where survival often feels more important than thriving. Number 3. Stoke-on-Trent. Stoke-on-Trent, once the heart of the British pottery industry, has struggled for decades to reinvent itself after the decline of its major manufacturing sector. Known for its history of producing fine ceramics, the town now finds itself battling economic stagnation, outdated infrastructure, and a lack of opportunities for its residents. The most pressing issue in Stoke-on-Trent is its high unemployment rate. While the town has made attempts to diversify its economy, it remains largely dependent on low-wage jobs, particularly in retail and service industries. Many residents find themselves stuck in temporary or part-time work, with little chance of advancement, contributing to a general sense of frustration and The lack of well-paying jobs has led to widespread poverty, particularly in certain districts. Housing is another area of concern in Stoke-on-Trent. The town has a significant number of derelict and abandoned properties, which contribute to the sense of decay in certain neighborhoods. Public services, including healthcare and education, are often underfunded, and many residents report dissatisfaction with local amenities. The physical environment of the town, marked by industrial wasteland and poorly maintained public spaces, does little to improve the quality of life for those living there. Crime is also an issue in Stoke-on-Trent, particularly in the more deprived areas. Antisocial behaviour, drug-related crime and theft are more common than in many other towns, making some neighbourhoods feel unsafe. Trent has some promising elements. The overall experience of living here is one of ongoing struggle, where residents are left trying to make the best of a town that's yet to fully recover. Number 2, Bradford. Bradford, a town with a rich cultural heritage and a history as a key player in the Industrial Revolution, now finds itself grappling with a range of issues that make it a difficult place to live. Despite its vibrant communities and impressive architecture, Bradford is currently facing significant socio-economic challenges that can be hard to ignore. The town is plagued by high levels of poverty, with a large portion of the population living below the poverty line. Employment opportunities are limited, and many residents find themselves stuck in low-paying, insecure jobs. Bradford's reliance on traditional industries, such as textiles, has left it vulnerable and the town has struggled to diversify its economy. As a result, high unemployment rates and a lack of career growth are serious concerns for those living here. Education and healthcare in Bradford also present problems. Many schools in the area underperform, contributing to a cycle of poverty and limited opportunities for young people. Healthcare services are stretched, and some areas of Bradford experience worse health outcomes than the national average, exacerbated by a lack of access to quality services. Crime is a growing issue in Bradford, with several neighbourhoods experiencing higher than average levels of violence, antisocial behaviour, and drug-related offences. While the town has made strides in regeneration and investment in certain areas, many residents still feel that the overall safety and quality of life are not improving as quickly as they should be. Bradford has potential, but it's currently a town overshadowed by persistent issues that make it seeking a stable, thriving place to live. Number 1. Liverpool is undoubtedly one of the most iconic cities in England. Known for its rich musical history, cultural landmarks, and vibrant atmosphere. However, beneath its cultural charm lies a series of challenges that make it one of the least desirable places to live in the country. While Liverpool's history and nightlife may attract tourists, for those who call it home, the reality can be far less glamorous. One of the primary concerns in Liverpool is its high unemployment rate, which continues to plague many areas of the city. Despite the city's proximity to the thriving economy of Manchester, job opportunities within Liverpool itself can be limited, especially for those without higher education or specialised skills. This results in a significant portion of the population struggling with financial instability, often relying on low-paying, temporary work or facing long. The city also struggles with a number of social issues. Liverpool has one of the highest levels of poverty in the UK, and this is reflected in its health outcomes, with life expectancy in certain areas well below the national average. Poor housing conditions and a lack of adequate public services exacerbate these issues, making it difficult for residents to escape the cycle of deprivation. Crime is also a pressing concern in Liverpool, with certain neighbourhoods experiencing higher than average crime rates, particularly in terms of gang violence, theft, and antisocial behaviour. While some areas of Liverpool are experiencing regeneration and investment, the city as a whole still faces considerable challenges that make it a tough place to live for many. Despite its cultural appeal, Liverpool's ongoing struggles mean it may not be the ideal choice for those looking for stability and opportunities. And there you have it. You might want to think twice about before making a move. Do you agree with our list, or did we miss any surprising spots? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to check out our previous one for more. We put a lot of effort into making these videos for you, so show us some love. Hit that subscribe button. It's just one click to support us and stay updated.